Chandrasana. So it's a seated twist. It's a little bit intricate, and there are contraindications to this pose. So if you've had an op, if you had any abdominal issues like maybe an ulcer, herniated discs, slip discs, any issues with the hips, with the knees, then definitely do not do this pose. There are variations to this pose, but I still wouldn't suggest it because it is quite intense. So without further ado, let's get to the pose. You're gonna come to seated just like how Arushka is at the moment. And Arushka is gonna take bend the right leg, the right knee, in the foot up. She's gonna take the right foot over to the left, to the outer side of the left knee. And then she's going to grab a hold of the right ankle to bend the right leg, bring the foot back. You can grab a foot and we're going to take it back. So it's right, and she's going to find a comfortable seat. So in this position, if the hips are off the ground, you can use a pillow or a bolster, or even a folded towel or a folded blanket just to create that evenness. I'm sorry, so she doesn't need that. Now you're going to take the, so we just open twist or a closed twist to this. First, we're going to do the closed twist. So we got the right leg bent over the left leg. Now we're going to take the left hand, we're going to bend at the elbow and take it to the outer side of the right knee. And you're going to use that elbow to sort of push the knee away. The right hand is at the back and you're looking over your shoulder. So you'll notice that this, when you're in the pose, it is quite an intense stretch. So what you can also do to intensify it a little bit more is try and straighten out the bent hand to reach for the ankle of the right foot. So Anushka doesn't have the flexibility of doing that, but that's what you can also do. And that's Ardha Matsyendrasana. So the other way you can do it is you can actually extend the left foot out. So Anushka, you can just extend that foot and keep the twist. So you can do that as well. And then you can also do an open twist. Now with the open twist, you are taking the right hand to the outer side of the right knee, and your left hand is at the back, and you are twisting and looking over your shoulder. This is a much more relaxed twist, not so intense. And yeah, so that's Ardha Matsyendrasana. Anushka, gently come out of the twist. Thank you. So with this twist, or with any twist for that matter, you have to move very slowly and very gently, because you can injure yourself very easily, especially the lower back area. So in fact, with all yoga poses, because of the intensity of the stretch, you have to take it easy in every pose. That's why we always say to our students, every yoga instructor you will hear will tell you, nice and easy, take it slow, or get into the pose in a certain way, get out in a certain way. That's simply because of the stretch, the way your body is stretched out and in that specific pose. So that's Ardha Matsyendrasana. So there is a story behind this. So basically, Lord Shiva wanted to tell his wife, Parvati, about the secrets of yoga. So he took her to this isolated place and he started narrating the story. But what he didn't realize is that in the stream of water around wherever they were, there was a fish that was listening. And inside the belly of the fish was a man. And so he listened to this entire narration of
of whatever Lord Shiva had to tell to his wife. And once he realized the power of yoga, he started practicing it inside the belly of the fish, and he continued doing so with lots of dedication and commitment. And eventually one day, Lord Shiva sees this fish, and it's this huge fish, and he realizes that there's someone inside it. And he also comes to know that this person now is aware of the secrets of yoga. So Lord Shiva is considered Adi Yoga, which is the first yogi, and the individual in the fish is considered the second yogi after Lord Shiva. So he releases him from the fish, and he names him Matsyendra, the Lord of the Fish. So Ardha Matsyendra is what Arishka did, is half Lord of the Fish pose. So you can imagine that the full pose is a little bit intense, and it's more for advanced practitioners. So that's Ardha Matsyendrasana, and we have attached commitment to it. Commitment because of the dedication and the commitment that this individual took within the fish's belly to actually practice yoga. So the other story is that it was a fish that heard the story, and then Lord Shiva transformed him into a human. And yeah, so that's the little story behind the pose. So how does it apply to us? If we can really commit to something that we desire, whether it is in our studies, in our path of spirituality, in the workplace, wherever, if we do this, whatever task it is, with dedication, and commitment, we will definitely reap the rewards of it. So I think with anything and everything in life, you have to have a commitment. Even in your relationships, there has to be a commitment. So that's the reason we have commitment to Ardha Matsyendrasana.
Okay. So I was thinking while you're speaking that imagine being in the restricted stomach of a fish, but when you hear the truth, you don't let any condition stifle you to like, I mean, if you realize that Shiva was the Lord of yoga and Adi yogi, imagine knowing that that's who it is, and I have an opportunity to learn from the best. So I'm not going to say, you know what, but when I get out of the stomach of the fish, that's actually when I'm going to learn, or I'll take it up. I thought what was incredible is that it was because while he was in the stomach of the fish, that he taught himself everything, that's what led him out. So commitment actually for me is a very powerful tool to actually express our worthiness, our ability to, in a sense, define ourselves. So in the thought card today, the way it's described is that commitment is the dedication, attention, precision, and resilience I have whilst performing any task is the sign of my commitment. Being committed allows me to be dependable and accountable, makes me accurate, allows me to make accurate decisions and bring precision in each task, and I am relevant and in tune with people and the environment. So for me, that's really something that's very essential in terms of what we're busy doing. That in life, when situations come about, there's no the ideal environment, there's no ideal circumstances, but I need to be clear what my aim is. I know you use the word desire, but I would kind of replace that word desire with an aim, an objective. And that if we have a very clear and powerful aim, then there is really nothing stopping us. And anything else that we say could just merely be excuses. And so to be committed I think one can't really let anything from the outside come in the way. So Shalona, what will you say for yourself? Where's commitment brought you?
Okay, let's just take one instant. When we met in an accident in 2016 and I broke my ankle, and the orthopedic surgeon told me that I would limp for the rest of my life. So at that moment, I was very disheartened, and I didn't want to accept that, and I didn't accept that. And so that weekend, we took a drive to Gateway with my crutches and all, and I saw this one individual in a wheelchair with no legs, and he seemed to be so happy. And I thought to myself that if this individual can be happy with whatever situation, and even though his legs are no longer there, he doesn't have the use of them. If he can still find happiness, surely I can. And so when I got home, at that time, I was already practicing yoga as well. I was already well into my yoga practices. And so I decided to commit to doing Surya Namaskar. Now that was very difficult. I don't even know why I chose that. But that was what I challenged myself. So very awkwardly, with the help of a chair and with my crutches, I somehow managed to do Surya Namaskar on a daily basis. And that is where I was committed. And I refused to accept that I was going to limp for the rest of my life. And if I had to limp, I realized that I did everything that I possibly can. So I'm very grateful for yoga and that commitment that I had, because now I don't limp. Yes, I don't have 100% flexibility on the ankle. And there's very few poses in yoga. One is Malasana, where you actually squat and you have both your feet flat on the ground. That is the pose that I have difficulty doing, because I cannot have my feet flat on the ground. And the other pose is downward dog, where I can't put my feet flat on the ground because of that lack of flexibility. But other than that, every other pose is a breeze. So that's where commitment has helped me overcome something that could have hindered me from leading a less than ideal life. Say it like that.
So Shalona, even something like driving, you can get back to quite easily, hey?
Yes. Okay. So driving is a challenge, because a little bit of a challenge. I do drive now, but not as much, because it's a left ankle. So when you're pressing onto the clutch, there's kind of like a locking sort of feeling. I can't explain it. So yes, I drive Ria to school, which is not very far, and I come home and I do like rounds in the area. But the aim is actually to get an automatic now, because I've come to a realization that sometimes you just gotta face the fact, there's certain things you just can't, and no matter what you do, and you just gotta move on and find something better.
I like that, because what happens sometimes, the waiting, in a sense that I put sometimes unrealistic aims in front of me, and knowing very well that I don't want to admit the fact that it can't change. So then, and I could sometimes would call that being stubborn. So there's a little difference in being stubborn and being committed. And if I kind of move away from that idea that, it has to happen in that way, rather that driving is the aim, not which kind of car you drive. And so the idea is to get back to the driving, but not that I have to drive the manual and revert back to how I was. The idea is that I have to be efficient. And so it's really beautiful in a sense that we kind of move out of our, we don't use excuses as a way to remain where we are. like, for example, I think if you want to always go back to only driving a manual, I'm just giving you an example that it also means I want to return to where I was. Whereas if I start driving an automatic, this is in your example, it's, I don't know what more new things will come up for me. So I'm also closing the doors to my own growth and for my own ease. Just maybe, you know, the pressure of release from driving an automatic is quite phenomenal. And so it's like we can bring so much more to ourselves if we don't remain stuck in our own ideas. So I think that when I think about commitment is that I need to have such a clear image, such a clear aim in front of me. And that commitment is not in any way dependent on anything. So I actually was using the word dedication, that I dedicate myself to be accurate and precise and resilient, so that actually I don't get anything that can come and shortchange me or short circuit the process. And that really is something that was coming in my mind as I was listening to you. And looking at the twist itself, I know it's something I used to do quite easily. Today I didn't try it out, but I think I'll give it a go. But I do find that, you know, something like that, you know, when you're holding like your shoulders is a little bit stiff, and you know, by just doing that whole neck movement and all of it, sometimes when we soar physically, we think, oh, better not to do anything, you know, somebody else should massage me. But I find that when you do something, especially these movements and the little twists, when your body naturally makes the twist, it aligns the muscles more accurately. And what you think was difficult actually became the moment of release. So I think the time to do exercises and all of it is when you are stiff. Don't think, and what I do is that if I feel I'm stiff, then I'm going to have a hot shower. So my muscles get a little bit, you know, relaxed through the hot water. And then I start doing it because that's the warming up. And so I really find why I'm saying this to everyone is that, you know, don't make excuses, actually. There's definitely ways around all the little things. And the very thing that's the problem is going to be your breaking point of, or breakthrough point, which is powerful. Okay. I don't know if you want to say any closing remarks, Shalona?
Just that we all need, like you said, an aim and reach for whatever it is with that commitment and desire. And just that commitment will fuel you forward. You know, it will be the thing that propels you to wherever it is you need to be.
Excellent. Okay, so good time for us to get into our meditation. Thank you. So I invite you to become still and relax in the moment, taking a deep breath in. I become aware of my surroundings, my current position, my emotional state of being. Just take a deep breath and become aware. And as I inhale, I fill myself with that light of awareness. And I breathe out any uncertainty, confusion, and most important, I breathe out the past. I take a deep breath in and allow myself to experience myself in this moment, and I feel my stillness and stability, and I breathe out any form of hesitation or instability. I breathe in the total lightness of my being and breathe out any judgment or assumptions. And in this powerful moment of being present, I take a full stock of all my qualities, my powers, the skills and talents within I, the being of light. I see myself as a beautiful being of pure light energy. And from the very core of myself, I see the qualities that are my decoration. I am a very pure being who is all powerful. I see myself as that virtuous star of light energy. And in that moment of my pure power, I also see the strength of the powers I have. So, firstly, is the power to withdraw, and that is the power to look beyond the limited and start connecting to my subtle senses. I also see within myself that those qualities are the natural nature of I, the soul. The quality of peace. And this beautifully ties in with the power to withdraw. I am at peace when I know who I am, and all desires to take through my physical senses stop. I can then start diving deep inside and expose my quality of who I truly am. The power of peace allows me to have patience, and I can see myself acting, interacting, and responding. The next power I see for myself is the power to let go. And this beautiful power allows me to stay beyond the past and be in the present. And the virtue that I pick up with this power to let go is to be free and detached. In being detached, I experience a wholeness within my being that I need nothing. I am complete and whole. So I find myself really deeply connected to the very core of my being. And in this consciousness, I'm able to bring out all the treasures that lie within me. And it is these treasures that become the aim and purpose of my life. So I stay committed that no matter what task I perform, that the qualities and powers of I, the spiritual being, should always be sustained and utilized, that the expression of each action should be that of peace, love, happiness, joy, wisdom, and power. So today, I guard myself against any external distractions and keep the compass of my mind focused on that treasure store of qualities that defines me. Om Shanti.